Jump off that exhausting hamster wheel and into balanced living with Dr. Marissa.
Promise you joy in the mystery.
Dr. Marissa, also known as the Asian Oprah. Her mission, to be a beneficial presence on the planet. Her purpose, to be your personal advocate to live, laugh, love, learn. Her life motto, don't die wondering. Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
And welcome. You are tuned into Take My Advice, I'm Not Using It, Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on NBC News, CNBC News, and NBC Sports radio station, KCAA, AM 1050, FM 102.3, FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere. iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher, Amazon Music, iTunes, Audible, and more. My name is Dr. Marissa. Some of you know me as the Asian Oprah. I was actually introduced to her with that honorable moniker by Michael Bernard Beckwith, and the name sort of stuck. And yes, I know that I don't need to use anybody else's name. I appreciate the concern. But to be honest with you, it's an honor. And when I'm on the red carpet interviewing Halle Berry or John Travolta, when I say, this is Dr. Marissa reporting live, you know me as the Asian Oprah, they smile and it breaks the uncomfortableness, and I'm allowed to really get a full heart-to-heart interview. So if you haven't seen those on my red carpet playlist, then please do go check those out and you'll see exactly what I mean. All right. And today is January the 7th. And for the deliciousness of life, that national day of some kind of food that you have my permission to have, today is National Tempura Day. I love tempura. So you have my permission to have it today. You can also send me some tempura if you'd like, or just enjoy it. And it is also National Passing Gas Day. I wasn't going to actually announce that, but the verbiage at nationalday.com was so cute that I had to go and check it out. There's some trivia that you may not know about National Pass Gas Day. Can't believe I'm saying this stuff, but anything to get a laugh, and laughter is my favorite sound in the whole wide world. So humans have several innovative fun names, slang terms to the process of passing gas, including, I can't say it because of the FCC rules, but it starts with an F and ends with a T. Mess, drop a bomb, toot, rip one, break the wind, cut one, cut the cheese, guff, trump, no comment, and break one loose. Did you know that the gas we pass contains methane and hydrogen, making them flammable? But not to worry, you need an insane amount of gas to be able to burst into flames just from passing gas. Now, please, kids, if you happen to just hear that, that is not Dr. Marissa's permission to go and experiment with that to see how much gas is necessary. Please, 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 or I'm going to be really in trouble. And in Finland, they organized a World Toot Championship on July 13th, 2013, which drew people from all over the world. I can't even imagine. I'm glad I wasn't there. You could probably smell it before you saw it. Just kidding. And finally, it is National Bobblehead Day. So this is your opportunity to say yes more and more, especially if you're known as a yes but person. Just bobble your head yes. You have my permission. All right. And it is day 7 on the 21-day fast from complaining with Dr. Marissa. You know that I started this fast July 1st, 2011. And there have been close to 10,000 people over these many years who have tried the fast. And only 4 people have been successful in not complaining for 21 days in a row. One is Janina Aravada from Japan and LA, Eva Glenn Atkinson from Kentucky, and Daia Jordan from Long Beach, California, and our first guy, Uwe Freyer. So this is waiting for you. If you want to have the best new year without spending a lot of money and without having to cut out all kinds of things that you love to eat and do, then the 21-day fast from complaining with Dr. Marissa is the fast for you. You just every day try not to complain. And if you can make it the whole day, that's day 1, all the way to day 21. And if you formally register at drmarissa.life and go to my Balance Marketplace, also known as the shop, and register there, your $21 will be there to collect, and I will double your money to $42 if you are able to do 21 consecutive days. All right. And I expanded it to March. So let's say you went from day 1 to day 6, and then today you let a toot of a complaint out. Then that means you have to start over at day 1 again, and then build from there to 21 again. That's what makes it so challenging, but I promise, even if you don't make it to 21 days and collect your money, you will be helping my nonprofit, my 501c 8 Ways to Happiness, which helps kids, teens, and young adults who have temporarily forgotten their birthright to happiness. You will also formulate a good life habit, because I don't know about you, any complaints to me make my ears hurt. So there are side effects to this fast. More smiles, more laughter, better relationships. And I even had one guy say, I have had a better time in the bedroom because of this fast. That's not exactly how he said it, but you can imagine. All right. So that's the 21-day fast from complaining. Go to drmarissa.life and register today. And for the rest of today, I'm going to talk about one of my favorite topics, and I'm sure it's one of your favorite topics. It's relationships. And remember, yes, I'm not in a relationship right now, but the name of my show is Take My Advice, I'm Not Using It. So I'm going to be giving you a plethora of advice that will come in the form of caller questions and answers. And that's after the break. And also my relationship talk on TV with KUSI. That's when we come back on Take My Advice, I'm Not Using It, Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on KCAA, the station that leaves no listener behind.
Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
And we're back. You're tuned in to Take My Advice, I'm Not Using It, Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on NBC News Radio, KCAA AM 1050, FM 102.3, FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere, including my YouTube channel, where you'll not only get my new short film called PPP, Post-Pandemic Possibilities, for anyone that's looking for a little positive take to going back, and to, of course, my red carpet playlist, where I have a myriad of amazing people that you've seen on the small screen, the big screen, the TV, the movies, you name it. I'm so blessed to have had the guests that I've had on this show, as well as the red carpet interviews that you get to see. And if you free subscribe on my YouTube link, then you'll get an alert at 8 a.m. in the morning every time a new show drops, which is every weekday morning, thanks to my station owner, Fred, who promoted me to this daily show, the Daily Morning Show. And thank you very much. It is the #1 8 a.m. show in the Inland Empire on the #1 talk news station, KCAA. So without further ado, here's our first caller about relationships. Enjoy.
And we do have Liliana now on the line. Good morning or good afternoon.
Good morning, Dr. Marissa. How are you?
I am happy and grateful. Thank you for checking in. And are you seated right now?
I am.
Perfect. Could you put your feet on the ground and palms up in your lap and gently close your eyes and take a deep breath in through your nose and release. Soft shoulders, soft elbows, soft knees. Good. Another deep breath in through the nose and releasing all the stories and the drama. And one more deep breath in. Connecting with me through chi, eternal energy. And release. Beautiful. Now you're connected to me. Gently open your eyes. On a scale of 1 to 10 in the area of relationships, how would you rate your relationships, your romantic relationships, on a scale of 1 to 10? 10 being fabulous, could not be better, and 1 not so great.
4.
4. Then we're right on target. So tell me a little bit of why it's only a 4.
Okay. So I'm a single mom, and I've been divorced for 9 years.
Okay.
And I had a boyfriend for 5 years.
Okay.
And we broke up over 2 years and a half.
Mm-hmm.
And for the last year or so, I've been thinking I'm ready to start dating.
Yep.
And I've been doing some online dating with 2 services.
Yep.
And unfortunately, I haven't met anybody, or I'm not dating anybody, and I haven't dated anybody in 2 years. So I'm wondering if what's wrong with me.
There's nothing
Am
wrong
I blocking
with
it, or?
No, there's nothing wrong with you. But I want to know some of the BS, the belief systems that you hold about relationships. So you had a marriage that your sentence was 9 years. I'm just kidding. You were you were married for 9 years. I always say that about my relationship because I'm happily divorced, and my sentence was 9.2 years. So similar. And do you believe that there's only one person for you?
No.
Good. So there's the first one. So do you believe that you need someone to complete you?
Yes.
Okay. So there's one. So it's kind of like, I want a guy to take my breath away. Do you want a guy to take your breath away? You want a guy to take your breath away, right? But if he takes your breath away, you're going to suffocate. Okay.
So no.
Yeah. So no. So here's the thing about Jerry Maguire and the whole BS that we grow up with, thinking that we are not whole unless we have a partner. Now, I'm not saying that it's not good to have a partner. In fact, I absolutely think that life is even more delicious when you are sharing it with someone, because you cannot have that feeling of romance with your kids or your parents or your siblings or your friends, right? You only get that relationship. You only get that feeling from a romantic relationship. So I absolutely agree that you are ready for the next chapter in your relationship. However, I don't want you to be looking for someone to complete you, because as soon as that is your primary goal, it's. Have you ever been with people who look like they need a lot of attention?
I've seen people, yeah.
Is it a turn on or a turn off?
Turn off.
Yeah. So what we want is, you are a whole, beautiful, complete person in and of yourself. I'm not hearing yes.
Yes, I am.
Okay, good.
Yes, I am.
Good. Because I want you to keep telling yourself that. Now, a lot of us have little voices in our head that tell us, oh, we're not that attractive, we're not that pretty, we're not, we don't deserve to have a relationship. All that's BS. So I want you to take a breath and let all that go. So that what goes out with that is also your question when you said, is there something wrong with me? Okay, that makes me think that you're actually allowing those critical voices to drive your life car over a cliff. Okay, so none of that, no more. Okay, you are beautiful, whole and complete. And are there good things about you?
Oh, many.
Good. Are there bad things about you?
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Are there
Some.
more good things than bad things?
Yes.
Okay.
Some.
So you are right on track. You're 88% fabulous, just like I am. And then we have our 12% days. Okay. So what dating is right now is you're not trying to sell, and this is why dating is sometimes more like the thrill of victory and the agony of defeat. Remember ABC Wide World of Sports? Because we go out there thinking we are looking for someone to complete us. So we have to be perfect, and we want to find someone who's perfect to complete. So what I want you to do is walk in the completeness of who you are. And guess what you're doing? You're just looking for a match. You're not looking for a complete. Now, the difference between complete and a match is what? So complete means something's missing in you, right? And they're going to provide something that is missing. Match is to complete, seeing if there's a fit between the two. Huge difference. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Okay. So from now on, dating is not looking for a man, is not looking for a partner, is not looking for someone to complete you. From this point forward, your dating is just about having fun and seeing if there's a match. And if there's a match, great. Let's see if there's a match the next time we go out. Get it?
Okay.
It's
I got it.
a lot less pressure, right? You can be yourself, and nobody's the bad guy if there's no match. So here's a huge thing. This is actually in my new book, Chapter 4, Out of Heartbreak into Love. So a lot of us suffer and diminish our happiness needlessly because we see relationships that end as failures. Relationships that end are not failures. They are just, they don't match anymore. So you can be with a person for 3 months or 3 years or 30 years, but when it's not a match anymore, the chapter's over. There's no one to blame. It's not their fault. It's not your fault. It's not a big deal. But we make ourselves sick, number one, with the BS system that there's only one, and so we have to make it work. You don't have to make it work. If it works 80% of the time, you're golden. And you're being yourself, and they're being themselves. So the next, if that's true, and I believe it is, because I wrote it, and I know, and happiness is important to me, right? I want to feel good most of the time. So when there's a match, it feels good. When there's no match, it doesn't feel good. Does that make, do I have an agreement on that?
Yes.
Okay. So you're looking for a match. Now, what is a match? So you sound like a pretty social person. You like doing different things, right?
Yes.
You're adventurous, right? You're responsible, right? You
most of the time.
Most of the time. What's your favorite thing? What's your top 3 things that you love to do? Like you get excited about?
I love dancing.
Okay, perfect.
I love traveling.
Good.
Everywhere.
Yep.
And I love spending time with my kids.
Beautiful. Okay. So kids, we're going to keep out of the equation because we don't want to introduce that until it's been, 6 to 9 months when there's a decision. Because we want to be the best role models for our kids. So longer term, that's my opinion, is the best time to introduce the kids. So let's work on the first 2. So would you be a match with someone who hates dancing and loves to stay in and watch TV all the time?
No, that's my ex-husband.
There you go. There
that wasn't a match.
Yeah, it wasn't a match. Okay, but you picked him. So I don't think it. I believe that you probably knew that was who he was, but there were other things that you liked more. But then after a while, those things drove you crazy, right? So this time, we got to fix your picker. So when you're going out on dates, when you're looking at profiles, when you're looking at matches, if the person doesn't say, I love to travel and I love dancing, I wouldn't even pick them. Those are two of your favorite things. You want to share those things with someone else. So if you see someone who says, I love staying in and watching movies and quiet nights, that's not your guy. So don't pick them, no matter how cute they are. Got it? So your first thing from now on is have a filter that says dancing. That's number one. And when you're not dating, which should be once a week, going out with girlfriends, go dancing. That way you're having fun whether you meet someone or not. Does that make sense?
I do.
Good.
I do. Yeah, I go
okay.
dancing
Perfect.
by myself. Yeah.
Perfect.
With my girlfriends.
And with your girlfriends. And there's meetups that you can look at. There's single dancing meetups you can go to. There's so many possibilities. So that's the other thing. You have to go in there optimistic. None of this, I've been dating for 2 years and nothing's happened. That is not helping. When you notice what you want is not happening, more of that will happen. So that's law of attraction. I don't know if you're a practitioner of that or understand what that is. It's a law, just like gravity. What you focus on grows bigger. So if you're negative about dating, it will grow bigger. You're going to have negative dating experiences. Promise. If you come in with a open, I'm just going to have fun and see if there's a match, then you're going to have fun and you're going to have matches. Some of them will be matches for a week. Some of them will be matches for 3 months or 9 months or 9 years. But it's so beautiful if we can leave relationships without blaming the other person. Now, that doesn't mean that you have to, want to hang out with them and be totally in love with them, right? But the whole thing about you're a jerk and you broke your promises. That leaving of relationships will guarantee you more of the same in the next because it's a negative energy. Does that make sense?
It does.
Perfect. So if you can also thank your past relationships for all that they taught you about life and love, both positive and what you don't like, then we're also in a much better move forward place. Does that help?
It does.
Good. So if you adopt those two things, I promise you, you're probably going to email me and say, guess what? It can happen that fast. So it's just leaving all that. That's what we were leaving when we released the breath. You can just release all of that. And then, start your day with gratitude. Start with 8 things that you love about what you've learned about relationships, what you know about yourself. And then I would not make a huge list of what you want in a guy. I would just have those top 2, the dancing and the travel, that's enough. And then see what happens.
Okay.
Okay?
I will try that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for calling in and being a victim of my advice that I don't always use. Thank you, Liliana. All right. Right there. Yay! Thank you so much.
And there's more where that came from. The second caller is coming right up after this break. So keep it tuned to Take My Advice. I'm Not Using It. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa on KCAA, the station that leaves no listener behind.
back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
And we're back. You're tuned into Take My Advice. I'm Not Using It. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on KCAA, NBC News Radio, CNBC News Radio, and NBC Sports Station, AM 1050, FM 102.3, FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere. iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher, Amazon Music, Audible, and more, because I want to splatter the most possible peace, love, joy, harmony, wonder, bliss, good timing, wisdom, happiness, of course, happiness, all over as far as I can. And that's why this show has been going on for almost 9 years. May 1st, it'll be 9 years. We are on show number 612, I believe. So we're almost there. Thank you so much for all of your support, all the guys at KCAA, and they are all guys. And then all of my listeners, gaggles worth of people. I'm so grateful. My numbers have been great thanks to you. And so, shit, that's Mandarin. Shit, not SHIT. Thank you in Mandarin for all the support you continue to give Dr. Marissa. And as promised, here's a little clip of me talking about relationships with the anchor at KUSI. And then following that will be my second caller, a guy who's asking for advice about his relationship. So enjoy.
All right. Are you in a relationship that requires a lot of work and you're not sure if you want to continue with it? Well, this morning we're getting some tips from organizational psychologist and relationship expert, Dr. Marissa Pay. Good morning to you.
And good morning to you.
Now, you talk about this all the time. You have your very own talk radio.
I do. It's called Take My Advice. I'm Not Using It. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa.
I love that.
So everything I say you have to take with a little bit of salt.
And you also answer to another name as well, which is?
Yes, well, on the air when I take calls, it's the kinder, gentler Dr. Laura. Sorry. And the newest honorable moniker is because I have a lot of past Oprah guests on my show, as well as winning the Asian Entrepreneur of the Year award. So now they're calling me the Asian Oprah.
I love that, right?
Very
That's a
honorable.
welcome title, right?
It is, but it just means I have to give stuff away on the show.
Oh, not always a bad thing, though.
No.
If you get some perks, if you get some kickback, then it's a good deal for everyone involved. All right, so let's talk about this. Relationships, they all have to be, you have to work at them a little bit, but they don't have to be a lot of work, right?
Yes. No thanks to Cinderella. I think part of the problem is we come with an expectation that relationships are supposed to be easy, that we meet that special someone and we drive into the sunset with the happily ever after. And there is no happily ever after. If you're at in a relationship that is 88% good, I use 88 because 8's a lucky number in Chinese. It means good fortune. Then it's a relationship that you want to continue with. Nothing is perfect. Now, the other way relationships are difficult is your picker. So if you want a dog, don't buy a cat. So if you want, if you love to travel, you're allergic to smoke, and you don't like to stay home, then you don't want, and you're a neat freak, you don't want to pick someone who's a couch potato who smokes.
But you have to be a little flexible, right? A little malleable, so to say.
Yes.
Right? Because there isn't one person out there that's going to check off all of your boxes.
Correct. That's why it's the 88%.
88%.
Exactly. And if you're with someone that makes you miserable, so if they're driving you crazy, take away the keys. And you own your keys. So if you're looking for someone to complete you, thanks Jerry Maguire, if you're looking for someone to take your breath away, well, you might suffocate.
Yeah.
The most successful relationships I've seen are when two people really like themselves first. They enjoy being with themselves first, and then together they go into this dimension that you cannot get on your own.
Yeah.
So relationships, a good romantic relationship is something worth aspiring to and working towards.
And what's that saying? You have to love yourself before you can love someone else?
It is true. I know it's
very true.
It is very true.
You mentioned a couple movies, Jerry Maguire, Cinderella. Do you think that has ruined us, the rom-coms and the romance novels?
I think that it's made it a little more difficult to have a good relationship because we have that expectation.
Because we all want a Noah from the Notebook, right?
Exactly,
Where is he?
Exactly. Yeah. Or someone to say, you complete me.
Yeah.
But it is wonderful if you can know how to complete yourself first, and then not want to change the person that you're with more than 12%.
We're starting to run out of time, but I want to get to that list, crossing off all of your boxes. What things do you keep and what things do you throw away and say, okay, I have to overlook this. Even if that little habit bothers me, I have to get over it.
Right. If there's a connection, I think that's the most important thing. If you have a connection with someone and it's not easy to have that connection, then that's something that you have to keep foremost up there in the box. Usually relationships derail because you start seeing things you don't like, and then your focus goes to those things that you don't like. The power that we have in relationships is to choose. So if you know what your top three, choices is someone who is generous, or someone who is kind, or someone who is ambitious, then you keep those foremost. And if you find someone with those three foremost, then you might want to overlook some of the 12% that just doesn't work. But keeping that connection, knowing that we're supposed to have really good relationships, knowing that, it's kind of like the ABC Wild World of Sports where they used to say the thrill of victory and the agony of defeat. That's a dimension of relationships that we all should be having in our life.
Sure.
Because there's no
And it is
greater
possible.
joy. It is absolutely
possible. You just have to put a little work into it.
Yes, you do.
But not a lot.
Exactly.
Right? Thank you so much for being here.
My blessing.
All right.
If you don't already know, if you just stumbled on me, this is Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced with, who am I? With Dr. Marissa. I have two callers today who are talking about relationships and romance. You just heard Liliana and talking about dating and why her dating is not ending up in a relationship that she wants. So you might want to re-listen to that if that sounds like you. And so if you would like to be put on my caller list so that I can be the kinder, gentler Dr. Laura, then please do contact me. If you email me, Dr. Marissa, the number 4 balance@gmail.com will put you on that list. Oh, okay. Here we go. And welcome to the show. I don't know what happened.
Yes, thank you. Sorry.
I don't know.
I was having some problems dialing in. Finally got through now.
Oh, good. All right. So we'll just jump right in. So take a deep breath in and connect with me. Through the nose and release. Beautiful.
Sorry, the connection's not too good. It's kind of cutting out. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you are as well, but that's okay. We'll make do. And let's just jump right into your question. What is it about your romance or relationships that you would like advice on?
It's pretty much about moving forward.
Okay.
Like when you're, closing one door and opening chapters, it's like, like there's it's like, why is it harder for some people to let go, and then others find it a lot easier to realize that the relationship is not one that is mutual, one that helps both parties grow.
So are you the one that's having...
how do you help the other person, or is that the other person really has to work on themselves?
Correct. That's none of your business. It is difficult. I'm not saying that it isn't, especially if two people are in different places with it. But I think what you said at the beginning about it, the next chapter, is a really good analogy that I just used with the caller before. So looking at as a chapter, and then being really compassionate that other person had different dreams for the relationship, and being just as compassionate as possible, and then also affirming that it just isn't a match anymore. And I'm sure you've already said that, there's someone who will be more appreciative of you or a better match of you, but sometimes that doesn't feel good coming from the person who's doing the breaking up.
Yes.
So for you,
thank you for that.
Yeah, just for you to stay compassionate as possible, and obviously, if there's you don't want to flaunt if you're dating, maybe on your Facebook or whatever you probably don't want to date someone in the same circle to make it just a little easier for the other person. How long was that relationship?
Yeah. Oh, it's about 15 years. And, just come to this realization that for me, like, it's not that I'm looking for somebody else. It's just that I am looking to grow myself, and, I can't grow beyond that when I just feel that, both of us are pulling each other down.
Yeah.
So really, it's like not like I'm looking for a relationship, because that's the wrong thing. You have to really love yourself first and be comfortable.
Yeah.
But it's just that for me, it's like there's that feeling of guilt, remorse. It's like, like I'm hurting this other person, but in the long term, we're going to hurt each other even more by staying in something that doesn't work.
Yes. Yeah. I've often said that the BS, the belief system that we are fed, that relationships are supposed to last until death and do us part, really hurts relationships. It hurts relationships, and it hurts people, because if you think about, and I know I'm preaching to the choir here with you, Mike, that we're so different, and as we live, we expand and evolve and grow, and so even coming together, and maybe this is something that she listens to, this is for you, that I'm sure you're a beautiful, what's her name? Or actually, don't give me her name. So I'm just going to say that if she's listening, and she might be, that you are an amazing, beautiful person that has had a beautiful 15-year chapter with a relationship that did, you learned a lot. You learned about who you are and about love, and there was a match. And here's the thing: it's so difficult, one, to find someone who matches you at the beginning. I shouldn't say that. That's not true. It's not easy. It's not difficult, but it's not easy. But there are a lot of more matches than there are unmatches. But then after the match happens, and that's what you've gone through. You've gone through 15 years of experience, and now it's not a match. You've grown in a different direction. So I applaud you, as bad as you feel about this, that this, I would say, this is, you are honoring yourself and not being codependent and staying in a relationship that you know isn't a match. So for your partner, your partner that is now starting a different chapter, and you're starting a different chapter, if she can hear that it's not personal, and I think that's the point I was trying to make too with the earlier caller, is in relationships, when it's not a match, the temptation is to blame the other person. If you had been more blah, 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 or if you hadn't have been more blah, 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 it would still be okay. But it being okay is not as good, as wonderful as being fabulous. So that BS system of, just being comfortable, I think also hurts us as human beings, because this is the time to grow and expand and explore and really be the best that we can be, and then synergize with someone who's going to be the best, that enable you to be even better than you are. So I think for you, just not going down the rabbit hole of guilt, and because there's not anything to be guilt about. You can be compassionate, which is different than guilt. So choosing compassion versus guilt is different. Now, do you still talk to her and try to be friends with her?
Well, we're still in that process, but I don't engage in the same circles anymore.
Okay.
It's been a while. I chose to let go of circles that were not conducive to my growth. Because it's like going to be like a he said, she said, and I just choose not to engage in that type of behavior.
Yeah. That's a tough one, because that is also the common thing that people do, is blame the other person. So if you just, do the Michelle Obama, stay high and don't go low, and just love her from afar and detach with love, and be really grateful. If you haven't already written her something, I would write her something that says all of the things that you are so grateful for, that you've learned about yourself and you've learned about love, that are fabulous and beautiful, and you could not have had that without her. I would write that down. I think that would be a really beautiful gift to her, and help her not take it so personally. Does that help?
Thank you. Yes.
Fabulous. And we are out of time, so I did promise that we would give you a little shout out and what it is that you do, and I know you've written a book.
Yes, I have. I'm a health coach, and I basically wrote a book about my own journey of self-healing, losing 100 pounds and reversing type 2 diabetes. And that's my book is called I Am Enough, Healing a Broken Body.
Oh, beautiful. And now you can do another one called I Am Enough, Healing a Broken Heart. Right?
That's going to be in the works too, I guess.
There you go. There you go. Well,
from a compassionate and loving standpoint.
That's right. That's right. Well, thank you so much for calling in, and our short time, but it was still, hopefully you got something from that.
Yes, thank you so much.
Absolutely.
It's a pleasure.
Absolutely. And we are at the end of the show, and I actually have done most of the balance bar. I do want to just give you another balance tool from my Chapter 4, Out of Heartbreak into Love. And that is what I've been talking about. I alluded to the 3 month. So I have what I call the pregnancy model of relationships. And oftentimes the first 3 months are the glow. And that's when you feel really good and you show your best foot and everybody's fabulous and you get that little butterfly feeling and everything's wonderful. And then the second 3 months is when the real you comes out and the real them comes out. And it's not, if we all can change that from they promised or they made promises or they're a different person now. No, it's just a filling out. Second trimester of pregnancy is uncomfortable, right? You're bloated, you have, sickness, you don't feel good, you look a little green. Well, that's what happens when you get to know the full person. So you had the first 3 months of really cool and the second 3 months of a little bit of reality and the other parts of them that are not 88, the 12%, not the 88% fabulous. And then the last three, the third trimester is just the negotiation phase. Do we match 80% of the time? And if we do, then let's decide to continue. If we don't match 80% of the time, no harm, no foul, and it's over and no one is to blame. So if we all adopted this model, we would have a lot more happy breakups. I don't know many happy breakups. Most breakups end up with one person blaming the other person blaming the other, and there's a lot of hurt, pain, blame, shame, and anger, and that eats into our happiness. We cannot be happy 88% of the time. When every relationship we have, we end up saying, you're bad, you're wrong, it's your fault. If we can see it as a 9-month process, and then between the 4th month and the 9th month, if there's not a match, you can release and say, that was a great chapter. I learned even more what I like and what I don't. And thank you so much. And blessings. So wouldn't that be an amazing world if all relationships ended like that? So that's what we're going for, at least in 8 Ways to Happiness from wherever you are. So
I hope you enjoyed all of this relationship talk, and I hope that you got some good advice from my pregnancy model of relationships to my book of romance and all the other Happy 88 tools that you can actually find in my best-selling book, called 8 Ways to Happiness from Wherever You Are. And that is today's Asian Oprah giveaway. The first person to go to drmarissa.life and put in 8 ways in the subject line will get a free copy of the audiobook, which I do read the entire book. So it'll be me yakking in your ear about relationships, about loneliness, about faith, about hope, about happiness, about perfectionism, and about joy. So hopefully you will be the first one to go to drmarissa.life and you will get a free audiobook copy. And so grateful that that little book, which actually #accidentally came about. For those of you who didn't know the story, I wasn't planning. I kind of knew I'd be writing a book somewhere along the way, but right now I was so busy consulting and traveling and speaking and all of that. I really didn't have time. And then a $200,000 consulting project fell through, and I did my normal to release the frustration. And then I said those words that always bring me some magic, which is, I can't wait to see what good happens out of this, with more or less sarcasm. And sure enough, the voice in the head said, write. And I said, I don't have time to write. And the voice said, you do now. Yes, that voice has a sense of humor. So I sat for 1 week and I finished it Sunday night. I came up with the 8 chapters and then I went to bed. And the next morning, I swear to you, I got an email and it said, we follow motivational speakers on LinkedIn. Are you writing anything? And I'm like, are you forking kidding me? So it was a West Coast publisher, sent him the first chapter, Out of Loneliness into Hope, and the last chapter, Out of Control into Happiness. And the next day they sent me a contract. I kid you not. Now, I didn't go with them. I ended up going with Morgan James, partially because part proceeds from the book go to Habitat for Humanity. And they were more of a traditional publisher. And so there you go. Now you know a bunch of stories. All right. And that's it for show number 612. And if you're not on my social media, Doc Balance on Instagram, I've been doing some reels, trying to make you laugh. On Facebook as well, Dr. Marissa, go give me the finger. The finger. And then my profile page, although I always hit the 5,000. So I ask everybody to go to the Dr. Marissa page, which is 20,000 or something like that. So, but I post every single day, either about the show or about the fast. I'm not real good at interacting because I'm running around doing stuff. But if you want to get a hold of me and work with me as a coach, because I do happiness coaching, or if you'd like me to come and speak to your organization now that things are getting a little more, well, actually they're not. So if you want me to Zoom talk for you, as well as organizational consulting that I do as a org psychologist, valuing diversity, strategic planning, executive coaching, I'm here for you. And you know, I always have time for everything because I love what I do. And I'm wishing that very much for you as well. All right. This is Dr. Marissa reporting live from her living room during the pandemic, reminding you that it's all about balance, peace in, peace out, world peace through inner peace. Now go forth and multiply the goodness that you are and have the best day ever.